Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch.
Cowboy Carter.
Cowboy Carter. Howdy. Hey, y'all. Hey. Welcome to Sisters Who Watch.
Hi, y'all. I'm Shelby.
Howdy, and I'm Laura. And we're sisters who watch everything. TV, movies, sports, concerts, and even country albums.
Shocker.
We love to watch. Yes. And we love talking about it even more. Today we're watching
Cowboy Carter. Beyonce's newest country album. Our first time reviewing an album, y'all. Yeehaw. Get ready.
Yeehaw. And before we get into it, make sure you give Sisters Who Watch 5 stars on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. And make sure you follow us on all our social medias at Sisters Who Watch, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're there, so go support us. And we also have merch. So go buy our merch too. Okay. Shelby,
we have a
special guest.
Sequoia Holmes from the Black People Love Paramore podcast is here.
I asked to be here. I was like, I love this podcast. I want to go on. So thank you for having me.
Of course. So exciting. We've been on the Black People Love Paramore podcast. We discussed Bring It On. So exciting to have Sequoia here.
Yes.
It's a goodie.
Yeah,
yes,
please check it out.
It's a great podcast. So fun. And, you know, Black people, we like all kinds of things. So it's important to show our diversity and our range of interests.
Yes. And Sequoia has an episode, Black People Love Country Music. So very on brand with today.
Yes,
go check out that episode. Support Sequoia and her pod. And if you're watching, look at our outfits.
Yes.
All three of us are wearing
our
cowboy hats.
We're feeling very country.
Yes.
We all went to the Renaissance tour, so we're ready. We're ready with our hats.
Yes. Yes, we are. So Shelby, can you give us a background of Cowboy Carter?
Yes. So Cowboy Carter is the 8th studio album from Beyoncé. It was released on March 29th, 2024 via Parkwood Entertainment and Columbia Records. And this album is the second installment of Beyoncé's trilogy project. So like Act 2 after Renaissance. And it's her way of like reinventing the Americana genre and spotlighting like overlooked Black country artists like Linda Martell, who, to be honest, I had no idea who was before. And I'd also say what was interesting is Beyoncé said that she wrote Cowboy Carter like out of an experience that she had a few years ago where she didn't feel welcome. And a lot of people thought that was a reference to the backlash she received when performing the song Daddy Lessons with the Dixie Chicks at the Country Music Awards. And I remember that song. I'm a fan of Daddy Lessons. I really like it. And it sucks that she did not feel supported by the country music world. So she was like, honestly, let me make my own kind of country album.
And I love how Beyonce was like, I'm going to take my trauma and turn it into this trailblazing album that everyone's talking about. It's charting everywhere. Okay. Sequoia, what did you think about this whole Chicks controversy and the CMAs?
I thought the entire CMAs thing was ridiculous. When it first happened, I was like, oh, this is racism. This is white folks being mad that this Black lady is making music for a genre that they deemed as white, even though it wasn't originated as a white genre in the first place. It originated from like blues music and traditionally Black music anyway, so watch your mouth. And then secondly, the Dixie Chicks were not in country music's good graces. That was the primary issue, I guess. I didn't learn this until I recorded my episode of my podcast, Black People Love Country Music. But they had gone overseas and spoken out against America's occupation of the Middle East. I think during I don't remember what presidency it was, but they had some American feathers and they were like, you're not patriots. You're not country enough for us anymore. We're done with you guys. Classic. And then they changed their names from the Dixie Chicks to the Chicks because Dixie has some ties to the antebellum South and the slave era and all that stuff. And, you know, they're just more progressive than their country music counterparts generally. And they weren't in country music's good graces at that time. So it was a double whammy. It was like, Beyonce, not you got your Black ass on this stage at the CMAs. They were mad at that. And two, They were mad that she brought the just Dixie Chicks. They were like, and you with these bitches we don't fuck with? That's crazy.
Wow. Beyonce can't win. She can't.
She can't win. She can't
really
win.
can't. Wow. That's really good insight. I had no idea.
And did y'all hear that apparently Cowboy Carter was supposed to come out before Renaissance?
I did not know
No.
Yeah. Which is surprising to me. I'm glad it was Renaissance first. I feel like that
Me
was
too.
a really good first part of the trilogy. And I can't imagine if she had done country first.
No.
I don't know.
Me
how
neither.
people
I don't
would've
think people would have
reacted.
like listened to Renaissance that much. Like if
Yeah.
this came first, people would have been like, "Oh, I think I'm out of this Beyonce era." You know,
Right.
not that this is bad. I just think this is more polarizing than Renaissance was.
Yes. I agree. I think that Renaissance was so different for Beyonce, and everyone really embraced it and loved it. It was such a cultural phenomenon that I think we're on the Beyonce train. Like, we're here, right? So whatever she
Yeah.
does, we're sold. We're like, oh, Beyonce, she did disco. She did like Vogue music, house music. We're ready. We're on the country train, right? Like, we're eating up whatever she puts down, and she's feeding us. She is feeding us.
She's feeding the streets.
Yes, she
I love
is. So, like we talked about, let's get into our expectations. The bar was really high because I really loved Renaissance. We all went to the Renaissance tour.
Yes.
So, I think a lot of the country was on a Beyonce high. So, coming into this, knowing it was country, I had lots of feelings, lots of thoughts. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. What did y'all think?
When I heard a Beyonce country album, I was like, I don't know if I want that. Country album generally, much less, from anybody. And I'm like, I would prefer she do something else, but okay. And then when I saw the track listing, and I think it had like 27 songs on it, that poster, and I was like, in a long country album at that, Beyonce, like, please, you could ease me into it.
Right.
So my expectations after Renaissance were sky high. My expectations once I found out that it was a album and saw the track listing were in hell. So yeah.
I'm aligned. Thought the world tour last year was great. Check out our episode on it if you haven't. I thought the movie was great. So, like y'all, kind of on a high post Renaissance. And not being the biggest country fan, I was a little concerned. Maybe not a little concerned, a lot concerned.
Yeah.
Sequoia, did you listen to much country music before? I dabble in country a little bit.
Okay, come on, country girl. No, I haven't. I don't listen to country music. I listened to Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats. That's probably as far country as I got, or very early Taylor Swift era before I had a vehement disdain for the lady. So yeah, no country music for me.
That's so real.
I can't.
That's the era of Taylor Swift I like, the country era, right?
Same.
I'm on the same
Yeah.
page. And coming into the album, like, I heard that there was like a Jolene cover. Like, I remember people were talking about that before it dropped. Anything else y'all heard about the album before?
No, everybody wanted a Lady Gaga part 2 to Telephone.
Oh.
And so people were expecting that. And so I think everybody was kind of expecting that they would reconvene, because at the end of Telephone, it says part 1 on the music video, or it says to be continued, some shit like that. And so everybody's like, oh, okay. Oh, we're about to get the part 2 from Telephone. No. And that's the biggest disappointment for me.
I had not heard that.
Yeah. That's good insight. No, I'm disappointed because Telephone is such a good song.
Right?
Iconic.
So iconic. The music video, we never got them performing it live together. I'm like, oh my God, we're finally going to get them performing live together for the first time. No, I'm annoyed. What happened?
I was surprised on like who were the featured artists. I was not expecting Miley, Post Malone. I didn't know who Shabuzi was. Is that his name? Shabuzi?
Yes.
Yeah, that's his name. I didn't know either.
So there were a lot of people. I was like, who?
Yeah.
Yes,
Same.
I agree. So we talked about how there was like a Jolene, talk about a Jolene cover. That was one of my favorite songs from the album. Did y'all also like the Jolene cover? What did you think?
I feel mostly indifferent to the Jolene cover personally. I feel like I like it more than I don't, but it's not one of my favorites. I'm like, yeah, that's happening. That's cool.
I am not the biggest fan of covers on albums, you know?
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
I think I want, the original stuff. It's not a bad cover. I was just like, oh, okay, Jolene. Like, I thought it would have been cooler if she had done a song with Dolly, like a new song with Dolly, than like
Yeah.
a
Good point.
Jolene cover. And I know she has like that little Dolly P intro, outro, whatever, but that doesn't count.
No, that
No.
doesn't count at all. It's cute though.
There's some people I've heard talking about the Jolene song where like, nobody wants your man, Beyonce. Like, don't worry, no one's coming for your man. I was like, oh,
Yikes, I didn't hear that.
I did.
yes.
I might have said it.
You're like, I was the person who said that.
Perhaps, right. Perhaps I said it a couple of times, but yeah.
You mean Jay-Z's not the most eligible man in America?
One
No.
would. Who am I? I don't know. Perhaps not in my circles.
No. But I did like about the song how, Dolly Parton's version is so like, I'm begging you, don't come for my man. And like Beyonce's version is very like powerful and it's not timid. So I think that was really cool. And I saw like critique about that online being like, yes, like there's a whole New York Times article about the Jolene cover comparing it to Dolly's version, how hers is very meek and like kind of weak sounding. Beyonce's like, no, don't take my man. So I thought that was an interesting comparison. What other songs are your favorites?
Since we're talking about covers, let's chat Blackbird, because I love Blackbird and I didn't know it was a cover. And again, until I recorded my episode. Shout out to Jewel Wicker, the actual music journalist who will tell me things when I'm just discussing music without knowing shit. There's just something about Blackbird I really like. So that's one of my faves.
Oh, yes. I did know it was a cover. I love how she had 4 Black, pretty unknown country artists like perform on the song. So I thought that was awesome. Tiara Kennedy, Brittany Spencer, Tanner Adele, and Raina Roberts. Go check them out, everyone. And their like Spotify streams and everywhere just skyrocketed once
Of course.
the album dropped. So it's exciting that these 4 Black women who have been in country music are now getting their flowers, all thanks to Beyonce. And apparently they're all at like a country music award show, and they all took a photo together and they're like, yeah, we're having like a little Destiny's Child moment. And that just like made me so happy.
Oh, and they all got their tattoos, their little matching Blackbird tattoos. So cute.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah, they did. They all got like various Blackbird tattoos just to cement the moment that they're all on a Beyonce album.
Ugh. So cool.
Love that for them, because I honestly had no idea who they were again. I feel bad. Country's not my thing, but also I do like that Beyonce made a point to elevate less known artists, because a lot of times I feel like when people collab, they're the big names. So I do think that was nice, even though maybe we wanted Lady Gaga. She, was like, let me collab with some unknowns and give them some shine. For me, I guess, of course, the 16 Carriages. I really like that song. It's just like so catchy and country, and I guess maybe that's the kind of country I like. But I am like into.
It's kind of R&B.
Maybe that's what it is. It's a bit more like soul.
Yeah.
But I do like how this is Beyonce's version of country. Like she's still giving you that soul, that R&B feel, but using, I'd say, like 16 Carriages has like country motifs, I guess, like the way it's like storytelling, the way that the song's structured, it feels like country.
Yeah. I also love that song. That's definitely one of my favorite 16 Carriages. Like, right, what you said, it's like bluesy and soulful, but it still has like the country like guitars in it, and I love how the music builds. It's so good. Yeah, I love that song.
I also like Levi's jeans. I wasn't expecting to, because I don't know, I don't really listen to Post Malone, but he's reinventing himself. I'm kind of into it. I'm like, good for him. He like sounds great.
He really does. No, I really like that song too. It's very cute. I'm like, oh, this is a cute song.
I was shook. All the people to have on your album, like Post Malone just feels so random. Like, I would have
Yeah,
liked
it
to see
did.
someone that Beyonce fans probably care more about. But I think it was smart because Post Malone's very popular, and I think people who don't listen to Beyonce will be like, oh, Post Malone's on the album, like, I gotta listen, you know?
Feel
And
that.
I also really like Texas Hold'em. I know the song's all over TikTok and stuff, and some people are kind of sick of it, but when I first listened to it, I was like, whoa. This is too country. I like didn't really like it at first. I was like 16 Carriages, that is like kind of country, and I like that song. But Texas Hold'em, I was like, what is this banjo? Like, it was just it was a lot. But then I listened to it
Yeah.
more, and I grew to really like it, and it's so catchy, and it's fun, and it's like dancey, and I love seeing people like doing dancing online to it.
It's cute, catchy little moment. I like it.
Yeah. What do you think of the TikTok dances and stuff?
Honestly, I haven't seen any TikTok dances that I really like to Texas Hold'em, you know? I'm like, y'all not really doing what you need to do for this one. Leave it alone. But I'm happy that's getting Beyonce stream. Do what
Fun
y'all do.
part.
I'm gonna scroll away,
Right.
but y'all do what y'all do.
Good for her. I also like Tyrant, which I didn't initially. I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, but because it starts kind of slow and then picks up. Once it kind of picks up and becomes more like R&B hip hop-ish, I'm like, ooh, I'm into this.
Yes.
So I am a fan of that song. It not
Tyrant
initially,
is
but now I'm like,
good.
I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I just had
love
to turn it on
Tyrant.
to listen to it a little bit. It's good.
It's so like pump up, like really high energy. I really like Tyrant, and maybe because it doesn't sound super country, maybe that's why I like it. It sounds like a Lil Nas X song, kind of. I also really like Yaya, which is kind of like,
Yeah.
right, the rock song,
Another like very
upbeat.
So
Love
Tina
that
Turner.
song. Yes, very
Yeah.
Tina Turner. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I could see
100% one
it.
of my favorites.
That's one of my favorites too. I think it has like a Tina Turner vibe, a Prince vibe, and I like both of those people. So yeah, it does it for me. I like Bodyguard. Have y'all seen all of the memes about it? About Julius, her bodyguard, listening to it?
no.
Oh, okay. So Beyonce's like famous bodyguard that's been with her for forever, Julius.
Mhm.
There's people making memes being like Julius listening to this song and he's like laying on his stomach on his bed with his feet dangling in the air, you know, like a girl writing in her journal, like Moesha.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this is so
Not like
cute.
Moesha.
There's all these rumors that Beyonce and Julius have a thing.
Oh.
Ooh.
And this definitely added some fire to that, to those rumors.
And what did you think of the track list and how it had like the double eyes to represent like Act 2? What did you think of that? Did you
I had
notice
no
that?
thoughts, TBH. I noticed it, but I was like, okay, that's cool.
I did not know that until now.
Oh.
Thanks, Laura, for letting me know.
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just shows again how she's very like specific. Like everything's very purposeful. There's a point to everything. She likes it to be connected. So I think it just shows the attention to detail she has.
So we talked about our favorites. What are some of our least favorite songs or like just general critiques we have about Cowboy Carter?
My primary critique, which I've already covered, is there was no Lady Gaga in it, and that really blows me. Why that is? What's going on there? Because I've not seen y'all chat since telephone. I don't know what's going on. It stressed me out. I will also say the album is a little long for me. You know, I'm like, I think maybe we could have cut at least 18 minutes. Like an hour and 18 is a really long runtime for an album to me. Even an hour nowadays is like longer than most albums. I feel like nowadays albums generally around like the 45, 55 minute mark. So an hour 18 is a big ask, a heavy ask, especially for a country album. Like you're doing a genre in which you've never done. I don't think any of her other albums are this long. I didn't check, but I don't think Renaissance is this long. I don't think any of the other albums are this long. So that's just a lot. It's a long album.
I definitely think if the album was shorter, maybe I would be listening to it more. But now I'm
Yeah.
kind of just listening to like the few songs I like. And then it wasn't until I was like, let me listen to the whole thing again. And I was like, oh, I do like Tyrant. And I do think I'm missing certain songs, or I'm not giving it as much of a shot as I would others because of the length.
I think the first half is like so strong because it has like 16 Carriages, Texas Hold'em, and like Jolene and Blackbird, and you're like, this is great. I would say the second half kind of drags a bit compared to the first half. She has a lot of songs that are over 4 minutes, I've noticed. And I think towards the end of the album, I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's like still more songs. And a lot of the songs are slower. So I think that also kind of makes it feel longer. Like Renaissance is so upbeat, like and just so high energy.
You fly through it.
Right? And it goes by so fast. But I think this album, I guess country kind of inherently has slower songs, but I wish there were more upbeat songs. Like towards the end when it got to Tyrant, I was like, yes, like energy.
My other critique is I feel like there were like too many interludes or snippets, or I just wasn't as into them. Like something about them compared to Renaissance didn't do it for me. Like the Smoke Hour. Like I don't think I really need that kind of like radio station-esque intro outro. Like it's not what was the point? And even like Dolly P, it's like 20 seconds and I just cute, but like no point to it for me. They felt a little unnecessary.
I think that Renaissance flowed so well. Like every song on Renaissance is like a banger. I can listen to each song individually on Renaissance, not in the order of the album, and still really enjoy it. But I think like all the interludes, they make the album feel a bit more like choppy to me. So to me, it doesn't flow as well.
And the pacing isn't quite as strong as Renaissance. It's definitely more of a big swing than Renaissance was, more of a big risk, more of a big chance. And I love an artist that takes a big risk, love an artist that takes a big chance. So I really appreciate that she did that. That said, though, yeah, it's hard to follow up a near perfect album.
It's
really
honestly like how I feel with like Jordan Peele and Get Out to connect to movies. Like Get Out was such a good movie to have as your like feature directorial debut.
Yeah.
That anything afterwards, Snope, like those are like solid movies, right? But when you start out so strong, it's like hard for anything to kind of match up.
When you think about like Get Out, or if you think about like Kendrick Lamar's first album, Good Kid, Mad City, or just stuff like that, people's first thing is something they've been working on for probably most of their life, like half of their life at least. You know, it's like, oh, I've been ideating this project for the last 10 years. And then their second thing is like something that they had to put together in like 2 years or like a year following the success of that first thing that was very well thought out, that they have been sitting on for a long time. I feel that way with Renaissance versus Cowboy Carter too. It's like, okay, Renaissance seems like it was cohesive, really well thought out, and Cowboy Carter just feels like it lacks a little bit of that. And I don't know if it's because Renaissance has been being worked on for longer. It feels like she put more effort or just took more time with Renaissance.
That's a good point.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's something we don't always think about. Like, of course, your first thing, right? That's your baby. You're putting so much time into it. And then after that, you're like in the world of Hollywood and music, and you have to crunch things out faster. You have less time to put into it. You have probably more cooks in the kitchen. Like, there are a lot of factors that probably make it harder to make quality output, like your first project.
And as you mentioned, you thought Lady Gaga should have been on the album. I agree. I also felt like, you know, they had Miley and Post Malone. Like, why couldn't we get like Lil Nas X on the album or something?
Yeah,
I thought that
where's Lil
was
Nas X?
a missed opportunity, right?
Yeah, there's no way he said no to Beyonce, so he must not have been invited. Right. Damn, I didn't even think about him.
That's a good point, because he's like the only kind of famous Black country singer I know.
Right. He's the most mainstream Black country singer. And he got so much backlash when he first started a few years ago. So I feel like him and Beyonce, imagine a Beyonce and Lil Nas X song. So good.
That shit would have ate. And the performances would have ate. Oh my God, it would have been so good.
Oh my God.
Missed opportunity.
Right?
So who the hell am I to critique Beyonce?
Also,
think
that
that's all
part,
I got.
I feel
know.
horrible doing this.
Yikes.
Who the hell am I? Beyonce could take one look at my fucking Instagram and critique my whole life. If she heard this and she was like, "Oh, you have critiques, sweetheart? Let me show you critiques."
I know. I'm like, Beyonce's my queen. Like, I'm so sorry. Who
BeyHive,
am
don't
I?
come for
Literally.
us.
Okay, time for our categories. Who or what from Cowboy Carter did you love to hate?
I'd say the genre experimentation. Like, I appreciate the risk that Beyonce's taking. I admire it. But I honestly would have preferred if it was one of her more classic albums that I could just rock out to that had a lot of bangers.
I agree with you on that too. I would have preferred something else. I'm not mad at this at all. In fact, I actually like it. I like the album all the way through. It's easy listening if you're not paying really close attention, but sometimes I feel like I have to get all the way through the album and I'm like overwhelmed by the thought of that. But if it's just kind of on in the background, I don't really notice when it flows into a different song, and I like that about it. Now, a song that I don't love that the internet seems to be having a time with is Sweet Honey Buckin'. I'm like, I feel mixed about that one.
Yeah.
I don't outright hate it, but I'm like, it has like 3 different beat changes in it. I think I like most of them except for that last one. And there's just something about the word bucking I don't like. It's just an ugly word. And she's saying it all the time. She's like bucking. And I'm like,
Bucking.
ew, I don't like it. Stop.
We knucking and bucking and ready to fight? No.
I do like it in that. I like it in that context. If you say it in a sentence, it's fine. But just bucking, like, stop. You're making me upset.
I also, listening to that song again today, I was like, there's some parts I like about it, but I agree. I have mixed feelings on that too. Something else I love to hate, the features on the album. There are a lot of features, and I think a lot of them are great. Like Blackbird, all those female country artists, black country artists. But there were a lot of features, and kind of like we said, like the Dolly P and the Willie Nelson, I feel like it's a little bit, it makes it maybe less cohesive.
Now, for hate to hate, this could be tough because I don't know if there's, things we actually hate about this. Related to Cowboy Carter, I'd say I hate to hate, like, the racist backlash from, country fans and, like, radio stations, like, not wanting to play Cowboy Carter. That's crazy. Come on. Like, it's a country album.
People are just losers. Oh my God. Like, why are we having this conversation? This can't be fucking for real. There's no way that this is for real.
Like,
What's
white
going
people
on?
don't own country music. It's literally the opposite. Like, that's what's so crazy
It's
about
literally
it.
the opposite. You're welcome for us letting you borrow it for a couple decades.
But we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
And we're stealing it
Move.
back. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Get out the way.
There's been a lot of wild comments being like, yeah, why does Beyonce think she can do country? It's so insane. So
Because she's Beyonce. She can
Right?
do literally anyways. The only thing that I hate to hate is the online discourse I saw about the cover. I didn't mind the cover one way or another, but there was just so much bullshit going on online. The cover is uninspired, and the cover is about American patriotism, and it was like Trumpy and blah blah.
What?
And I'm like, are y'all dumb? You have to be dumb. There's no world in which you look at this Beyonce cover and you're like,
Crazy.
is this her being MAGA 2024? Are you being serious? Are you being serious? There's no way. It's obviously a reclamation saying that country music is American and black people are American and this is all our shit. That's what they're saying.
Literally. That's
That's what she's saying. That's how I took it. And also the critique about it being uninspired. Okay, you do something that's inspiring. Since Beyonce doesn't inspire you,
You
What
make a
inspires
better
you then?
album.
Yeah, what would you
make
do?
a better
you
album.
make a better album cover.
That's
What? I like that it
crazy.
connects to Renaissance. It's still her on a
Yes.
horse. It's not a disco horse.
No.
Wow, I hadn't heard that about the discourse. That's insane. Like, actually, how could you look at that album and be like, wow, this is Beyonce endorsing Trump 2024? Like, that's insane.
Crazy.
For Love to Love, we have Linda Martell, who was the first Black female country artist to perform at the Grand Ole Opry. And she has a very prominent feature on this album. She introduces a couple songs. So that was really cool to see.
I do like the title, Cowboy Carter.
Yes.
I like that she didn't go Cowgirl Carter. There's just something more interesting about her just going Cowboy Carter. It flows better than Cowgirl Carter would anyways. I also saw some online discourse about that. Why would you say cowboy and not cowgirl? Like, you're a girl, you're not a boy. Like, don't cosplay as something. I'm like, all right, guys, I really feel like we need to take a break from the internet. We have to go outside and touch grass, please.
It's literally like nitpicking. Like, let's relax.
It's nitpick. I'm like, she can't do anything. And that's probably why she made this album exactly the way that it is, because it doesn't matter what she does, she's gonna piss somebody off. Somebody's gonna find some critique with it. So she's like, I'm probably gonna make exactly what I want to make because I'm a country girl in a country world, and I'm gonna make a country album and y'all are gonna like it.
Period. That's so interesting. Right. I've not been hearing all this online discourse. That's dumb. I also really like.
You're probably healthier than me, Laura. That's why. You're probably a healthier person. You probably touch grass way more often than I do.
Yes. Sleep a little bit better at night. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why it's good that you're here, Sequoia, to give us the social media tea, the nuance that we're missing.
Thank you. I'm a martyr. Thank you.
Yes, you're doing God's work. Yes, thank you so much. I also love the cover artwork. Like we were saying, I love how it references Renaissance. She's on the white horse, the black background. And also I love how you see half of the American flag. I also thought that was like a great critique. It's saying like, okay, like I'm a part of America, but America doesn't accept me, right? Even though like my people built this country. So I loved how she had some of the American flag in the cover art.
I'm looking closely at the cover now because I would not have like noticed it. Like I see that it's half of the American flag, but I wouldn't have like noticed anything about that specifically. That's a really good point. That's art. That's what art is like intended to do.
She's definitely bringing country chic back. Yes. I feel like so many Black people are like wearing country hats and are just cowboy boots in their country era right now. People are feeling it.
And I have to say, Beyonce's so smart because she planted the seeds with the Renaissance tour. She was like, get your sparkly cowboy hats, you know, exhibit A, B, and C. We have ours.
Yep.
And
she did.
Get your sparkly cowboy boots. So she was already planting the seeds. She knows what she's doing. She was like, start to get countrified, y'all. Like, it's happening. So I think we were already kind of prepped for the country album a bit, but now it's just full on denim on denim, yeehaw, Texas, everything. I don't know if I'll go full in, like belt buckle, bolo tie country aesthetic.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I won't be following her into this aesthetic period, but I do have my little cowboy boots from my Renaissance tour. And
yes. Something else that we haven't talked about is Rumi Carter. She has a feature on the album, and she broke her sister's record, Blue Ivy, for being the youngest female to chart on the Billboard Hot 100. Keeping it in the family. I love it too.
How old is she? Do you know?
She's 6. She's 6.
She's 6? Oh my God, they're old.
Wow.
Oh my God, I thought she was like 3. Oh my gosh.
I know, 6. I thought they were just like infants. Like, when did that happen?
I love it. I really do love it though. One thing Beyonce gonna do is get her kids some Grammys. She gonna make them the youngest. She gonna get them the Grammys. Like it. Do y'all? You know, a question that I have. Do y'all think that this is a Grammy play, Cowboy Carter? I've seen that as conversation online too. People are saying like people are not respecting Beyonce because I don't know, for whatever reason, and this is people's first time listening to Beyonce. A lot of people's first time listening to Beyonce, and folks are speculating it'll be a lot of the Grammys judging body's first time listening to Beyonce, and they may actually give her a shot at Album of the Year since she's never won it.
I heard people saying how crazy would it be for Beyonce to win Album of the Year for a country album. It would kind of be
love it.
Like, yeah, it would be like poetic. I would honestly be into it. Yeah. The fact that she's lost, you know, like the Taylor Swifts so many times, like this would be great.
And she's like, look, I'll do Taylor Swift better than Taylor Swift then. If that's what y'all like, don't worry about it. I got you. Yeah.
If they keep on giving album of the year to, all these white artists, doing these pop and country albums, she's like, okay, bet, like, I'll do country. Maybe then they'll give me a album of the year. I mean,
Yeah.
go
And
off,
maybe they will. Let's
Beyonce.
see.
Maybe
Yeah.
they
Do y'all think she's
will.
going to tour this one? I don't think she is, but people are.
Yeah, I
don't
definitely.
think so.
I don't know. I think that Renaissance was like that tour. So I think it'll be
Yes.
so hard to try and
Yes.
top that.
Yep.
I heard a conspiracy that maybe she'll do like a residency.
Oh my God. At the Sphere, it would be
Yes.
so amazing. I would love that. I would love that. I would love that. I love that. I know that would cost an arm and a leg. It'd be like $3,000 a ticket or something.
That'll be like the hottest ticket in town. Yeah. Thousands of dollars.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I would not be mad at that.
Yeah.
And I think because a country world tour, that seems harder to sell to me than like a country residency or like the Sphere. Like people would come for that.
I agree.
So, Sequoia, you would buy your ticket to Vegas to see Beyonce's Cowboy Carter?
I really would, especially at the Sphere. I would.
That'd be crazy.
I don't want her anywhere else. I just want her to go to the Sphere, do the residency, do Cowboy Carter, do some Renaissance songs. Oh my God! Imagine the Renaissance visuals in the Sphere. Just
crazy.
It would be incredible.
Do we think we're gonna get some music videos finally?
No.
Will she ever do a music video ever again?
No. Let's go back to the hate to hate. That's what I fucking hate to hate. That's it. That's the primary thing that I hate to hate. I love a Beyonce music video so much. And the fact that she is now not giving us music videos anymore is pissing me off. It's actually making me upset. Like, Beyonce, I know that you are Beyonce and you can sell any goddamn thing and that's nice. Stop playing with us. Stop telling us. Don't make a joke on tour talking about y'all are the visual. I am not amused. Go make a music video.
I know. And during Renaissance, we see visuals of things that they filmed. Give them to us.
There.
They're there. I don't understand.
And where's the Renaissance movie? Why is it not on streaming yet?
Yes, that part.
The Swifties have gotten all of the things and we're getting nothing. We're never going to beat them.
How can
Beyonce,
we
help
win in the
us.
fight, right? How are we going to beat the Swifties?
You're not giving us any material.
It's game time.
Woo. Okay.
Ooh, I love a game.
Yes. Our game is red flag, green flag, 1, 2, 3.
Sequoia, is it a red flag to cover popular songs for your album?
No. I don't think so. I think it's fine. Like, if you do it well, I think the issue is most times it's hard to convince people that your cover is better than the original. That was my issue with Before I Let Go. When I first heard it, I was like, this didn't need to be remade. And then eventually it really grew on me and I'm obsessed with it, So it's just that ramp up period where it's like, why would you remake Frankie Beverly and Maze? I can't believe you would do that.
Next question. Is it a green flag to release an album in a new genre?
I think it's a yellow flag. I'll go with it's like, sure, but what are you about to do? I generally don't follow my artists into their new genres. So, and that's consistent through a lot of artists over time I found for myself. So I think you're rolling the dice. You're taking your chances with that.
That's a good point. And apparently more artists are trying to do this. Like Lana Del Rey apparently is doing a whole country album that's coming out. I don't follow Lana Del Rey, but everyone's in their country era. Like Lana's also doing it. So is Cowboy Carter a wait or a watch? What are we feeling?
I think it is a watch. I think you should consume it just because it is so different and so polarizing.
Yes.
You should probably have a take on it. It feels like a good time to have a take on it. So, yeah, watch.
That's how I feel. Like, at least to listen once, to be a part of the convo, right? To, like, know what's going on. Because I feel like it's such a moment. There are some, good songs on it. So you might find, like, a new jam. But if anything, just, see what Beyonce's doing. This is a big deal. Country album.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my favorite Beyonce album, but I think that this album's so important for so many reasons. Like, Beyonce is really showing us. I mean, we already knew she was that girl and she can do anything, but she really is showing us that nothing is going to stop her. She could literally do whatever she wants. And she did.
Very much.
I think that's really powerful. Like, this Black woman is running entertainment and she's literally changing the game, right? And I think that's really exciting. Like, she's the first Black female to ever top a country albums chart after that industry refused to accept her. And she's like, LOL, let me show you. I'm going to run country music this year. And the joke is on you. And I think this album is just a really important moment right now.
Now for our What to Watch segment. Sequoia, what are you watching these days?
What am I watching? I've been watching Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. Have y'all heard of that or watched it?
We watched the first season.
I watched the first season too. Yeah. Okay. It's not the best reality show I've ever watched, but it's just like something. So I've been watching that. I watched Quiet on the Set, of course.
Yes.
I still haven't watched this 5th episode, but I see a lot of controversy online about the 5th episode and how they went about getting it. So I don't know if I am going to watch the 5th episode.
Yeah, and we also watched Quiet on Set. We did an episode on it, so go check out Sisters Who Watch reviewing Quiet on Set. We really liked it. What were your initial thoughts just about that miniseries?
I was just so taken aback. I was like, oh my God, this is worse than I thought. When Drake Bell was the one that came and sat down, when they were talking about, oh, this happened to somebody, and they didn't specify who it was, and then Drake Bell came and sat, and was like,
took me out.
And there was just layers. There's just layers to it because he got in trouble for like interacting with a 16-year-old or something more recently. And so I was like, oh my God, there's just so many layers here.
Before we wrap up, what's your favorite Beyonce album?
Is Lemonade, for sure.
Ooh, yeah.
Classic. Good one.
Classic.
Yeah.
Honestly, I listened to Renaissance again recently after Cowboy Carter. Renaissance is really amazing. Like,
it is.
Truly no skips. Truly no skips.
It is.
So I would say that's one of my favorites now. I love B-Day. So good. Like,
so good.
So iconic.
Underrated, in fact.
Yes. That's like the music of my childhood. Like, love that album. I also love 4. 4 has some of my favorites.
4 is great.
Too.
Yes. Yep. Also. Yep.
All good albums. I also love the Homecoming from Coachella. Like, that is so good. It's
so good. The live album is so good. Oh my God.
Good.
Dun, 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 dun. I literally scream. I remember the first time I heard it, she performed it somewhere, and I think I cried. I think I teared up. I was like, what the fuck was that? What did I just experience? I couldn't believe it. So yeah, you know what? That's a great pick, Shelby.
So good. A good one. So basically, we just named like every Beyonce album. So yeah.
Yeah, we said all of them. Yeah.
Listen to all of them. Okay, so thank you for your What to Watch, Sequoia. So for Beyonce, there's potentially a tour, maybe a residency for Cowboy Carter. That will be exciting. And then Act 3. I've heard for Act 3, it might be a rock album. That's what people are speculating. Is that what you also think?
I would love that. Obviously, I have Black People Love Paramore, so I love a little pop punk, pop rock moment. Get Miss Hayley Williams on there. If this is a rock album, get Miss Hayley Williams on there. It'll be great. Yeah, I really do hope that's it. The spirit of Tina Turner, the original rock star. It'll be great.
Oh my gosh. I would love a Beyonce rock album. Like, similar to you, I'm also a big Paramore fan. Like, I love rock. That would be so fun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So besides Hayley Williams, who else do we need on Beyonce's rock album?
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
I know.
Shelby said, leave me out of it.
I know, I couldn't
tell you, but y'all got it.
Yeah, like,
who else? Who are... the girl from Evanescence would be great. I'm a big Green Day girly, so I would love to see Green Day on there. They feel like a good classic option.
Yeah, all great.
Oh, Willow Smith.
Oh, that would
Travis Barker
good.
On the drums. Yeah, that would be great. All of that would be great.
That would be really good.
Patrick Stump, the lead singer of Fall Out Boy, would actually eat that shit, and he loves R&B. He wanted to make an R&B album. There is this podcast called Sugar We're Going In. It is a podcast about the history of Fall Out Boy and hip hop. And apparently there's a lot of history of Fall Out Boy and hip hop. So I could see Patrick Stump being featured on that album.
I love it.
Mhm,
Oh
mhm.
my gosh. Well, thank you, Sequoia, so much for being here. This has been so
Yes,
fun.
Thank you for having me, y'all. It was fun.
Oh my gosh, of course. It was so great being on your pod, and so now amazing to have you on ours.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on
Lovers.
too.
Of
Yes, we tip
course,
our hats to you, Sequoia.
I tip my
Yes.
hat to you, lovely lady, you lovely gals.
Yes, just a couple of cowgirls over here.
Let the people know where they can find you and support your pod.
You can find me across social media at Sequoia B Holmes. You can find my podcast across social media at BPLP Pod. You can also find my podcast literally anywhere you get podcasts, including YouTube. So yeah, go check that out.
Yes,
Yay.
everyone, go support Sequoia and the Black People Love Paramore podcast. It's so good and needs to be added to your podcast rotation.
Yes,
That's
please.
it. And listen to our episode about Black People Love Bring It On. Yes. So if you enjoyed this episode of Sisters Who Watch, go support Sequoia and Black People Love Paramore and give Sisters Who Watch 5 stars on wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen. And make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms at Sisters Who Watch. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're there, so go support us and go buy our merch. Go to our website, sisterswhowatch.com, and go to our shop tab, and you can buy our merch there.
Yes, we really want to
Nice.
hear from y'all, so you can email us at sisterswhowatch@gmail.com. You can DM us on social media, comment on our posts. We're super grateful for your support. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Stay
Bye.
watching
Bye, y'all.
everything.
Stay watching.